Last Friday. All right, we are
Any
sound.
sound.
We are
sound,
streaming.
sound
I'm gonna check that out right now. Get into Facebook. Going live on Facebook. We are almost there.
Sound.
Sound. Going live. Come on, Facebook.
Everybody love this weather in Connecticut. All this rain and cold.
This is depressing.
I mean, I'm wearing a winter shirt here.
It is depressing.
Well, you have a T-shirt on, by the way.
Well, just because we're in here, I'm, definitely in privacy. I'm going to go public. Save. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Just getting everything ready on our social media platforms here with you. A lot to talk about today. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Intro to Crypto podcast, live with you every Monday and Friday. We didn't shoot this last week because Mike was enjoying himself some time with his family. Well deserved. Nice color. Got some great color.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was hot down there. Florida was hot.
And you know what? I'll take hot all day long over not so hot. No,
not me.
Just noticed that the iPad over there is a little crooked. Let me just get that fixed up. It's a little bit twisted. Am I right? Am I wrong? Slide over to the side over here. I think I just moved it. All right. Just making sure. Looking good. All right. So we are live with everybody here across the world, across Connecticut.
We have a sound check. Did it work?
Let's double check that sign check over here. Let's get it on. Yeah, we are good, buddy.
Just making sure. Perfect.
It's good.
Looking good. All right. So we are live.
I'm going to just lower that. All right, everybody. So welcome to the Intro to Crypto podcast. Every week we try to get together and educate you guys as much as we can.
Austin.
Hello, Austin.
I see Austin from Boca.
Austin Rosen. Awesome.
Yes.
Great guy. Great family. Great people. Austin, thank you so much for being a part of the show, my friend. Intro to Crypto. There's so much to talk about. I mean, this past week. So first of all, 2 weeks ago, we sat down here and we talked about what's going on in the market.
Nostradamus here. Nostradamus.
And I said two things are going to happen, right? And they can go back in the show and watch. I said that XRP will break 250. It happened. Yep. And I said that Bitcoin will beat its last highest ever at 206, I believe it was.
No,
205.
No, 10.
I'm sorry,
107.
And hit to 100.
Dave's already got us up double already on Bitcoin.
$112,000 Bitcoin hits. Unbelievable what's happening in the crypto market, digital assets. And if you're not involved and you don't know about crypto or digital assets, you need to start learning and understanding what it's all about because it is everything. And remember, we got the Instagram there and we got the rest of the world here.
I'm too busy reading Austin stuff.
I know. So it's very important. Austin, thank you so much for being out there in Boca, giving us love. Please say hello to your family, and your family should watch also. Austin, I'm sure you've probably gotten involved in crypto a little bit. This is a very important thing to learn about crypto, digital assets in today's world. Most of us at the age of 50 and older don't really know much about it. We hear about it. We get nervous about it. We just shut it down because it's something that we don't understand. And it's important for the world, the country, the people in the United States, and people like you and me. You can be as poor or wealthy as possible and not know it because you don't have somebody who taught you about it. Mm-hmm. And you've been educating me for the last couple of years about crypto and still just the tip of the iceberg, just kind of learning about it. Mm-hmm. It's happening. We don't get to see it on the news. We don't see it on TV. We don't see it unless you're kind of watching YouTube. That's where you kind of learn most about what's happening in the digital world. And things are happening. So as we mentioned, we have the Bitcoin hits a record high of 112,000, driven by optimism over favorable regulatory shifts and institutional investments. Guys, the godfather of crypto is Bitcoin. That does not mean it's the only crypto you should be touching. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't recommend even touching it unless you already have it. Because it's so expensive and so hard to buy into, you can buy little bits and pieces of it. Absolutely. But there's so many other great coins to invest into that are the future of this government, this country, and the world. And it's happening before our eyes. If you're not sure what this is.
That's our take. And go ahead and give your disclaimer that you always like to do.
This is a major important disclaimer. We are not giving you financial advice. We are simply trying to educate you. You have to make sure to do your own research and own education on the digital assets and crypto. Definitely do your research. We're here as your friend and trying to help you. Listen, owning a couple hundred coins is a great thing to feel and have and to watch and to see what happens in the future. I don't expect you to go and spend $1 million on crypto. You put in what you're comfortable putting in, but get involved now because it's easy to go a little bit at a time, and then you won't be able to afford what's happening with the coins as they're going to be going to the moon, not through the moon.
From your lips to God's ears. I hope that for you out there, and I hope that for us here
as well. So the Genius Act, I'm not sure if many of you guys know what is the Genius Act. Austin, thank you for sharing this. It's important. We appreciate that so much. So the Genius Act, the Senate approved the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoin Act, providing a regulatory framework for stablecoins. This legislation is expected to encourage broader adoption and integration of stablecoins into traditional finance. Michael, just to quickly let people understand what a stablecoin is, please. For the people who are out there maybe listening for the first time, what is a stablecoin?
It's a token, a coin that is actually tied to the U.S. dollar. So it's stable. They call it stable because it's stable to the U.S. dollar.
All right.
Although some of us would not believe that the dollar is very stable.
That is
with
facts.
The way they print money. They print money like there's no tomorrow. And by the way, not to get off on the soapbox here, but the beautiful thing about crypto is when they say there's 100 billion, there's only 100 billion. There will never be another one. And that's regarding XRP.
That's another good point you make, because like they keep printing money, you mentioned before. And when it comes to the digital assets, they can't.
No.
Whatever they made, and that's it. Especially with XRP.
It's all of them. No, it's not just that. It's everyone. Bitcoin's only has 25, I think it's 25 million or
billion.
No, million.
Million.
There's very few. That's one of the reasons why they're so expensive, is because there's very few of them. XLM only has a half of what XRP has. So there's 500 million. No, I'm sorry. I said there's 100 billion of XRP. So There's only 50 billion. Excuse me. There's 50 billion XLM. So, but there will never be another one of either one of those, or Bitcoin for that matter.
If you know what BlackRock is, and if you don't know what BlackRock is, and I'm going to have Mike go into what BlackRock is, BlackRock increased its Bitcoin allocations while reducing stock holdings, indicating a strategic shift towards digital assets. Michael, please tell everybody what BlackRock is, putting on the spot over here.
BlackRock is one of the largest financial holding companies in the world, basically. I mean, they have, I think, $11 trillion under their roof.
Okay. And
they're bigger than most nations that are out there in terms of their size of.
And currency. They're involved in digital assets.
Not just certainly stocks, bonds, the whole 9 yards, but they're Larry Fink, who's the big shot at BlackRock, he's been negative on crypto for years.
He has.
And now he's positive on crypto, which is sort of funny because they're pulling everybody away from crypto for the last, 4 or 5 years that I've been following. And now all of a sudden,
I would bet you that they pulled people away from it because they were investing in it and they wanted the price to stay down, which is a lot of times what happens in most investment firms. They keep things low. They don't want you to know what's happening behind the scenes. This way, these companies can go and invest heavily at a low price.
Yeah,
right?
It's called talk your book. They're talking their book to keep the price down.
This is something that happens in the stock market in all areas of life when it comes to investing, and you don't realize this is happening because we are the little
Jim
people.
Cramer does it. Even Jim Cramer, as far as I'm concerned, Jim Cramer does it. On CNBC for the stocks. They have an ETF. We talked about ETFs all the time for crypto, but they have ETFs for Jim Cramer. It's an inverse in Jim Cramer. Whatever Jim says,
do the
opposite. And it actually is done very, very well.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yep.
Major catalyst driving XRP momentum. Now, we are a very heavily emotionally involved in the XRP ledger. So a lot of things we talk about is XRP because of what it's doing and what it's going to do to the digital assets in this country, in this world, in the banking system, in our nation, as far as what is happening with all cross-border payments between every major bank, every major credit card, et cetera, et cetera. So Regulatory milestones. Ripple concluded its legal case with the SEC, as we know, on May 8th, 2025. In case you didn't know, it concluded again with the SEC on May 8th, 2025. That just happened about 12 days ago, 15 days ago, providing much needed clarity and boosting investor confidence.
Yeah, that whole thing is sort of messed up a little bit because the judge turned around and said,
nope,
did the wrong filing.
Right.
They said they did the wrong filing and they have to refile,
which they did.
Which is but it was supposed to be another delay of another month or two.
Is that right?
That's I've been on vacation last week, so Dave could be right, I could be right, but I know that there was a delay on that.
Let's check into it together. If you know, feel free to let us know over there, please, as you're watching. Number 2, institutional adoption. The launch of the first U.S. listed XRP futures ETF on NASDAQ under the ticket XRPI marks a significant step towards mainstream acceptance.
We'll be on the stock market then at that point.
Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
You can now look into buying an ETF with your stockbroker at XRP. And they might not be even suggesting it to you because the stockbrokers, again, are not really allowed to talk about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the ability to have knowledge in it, talk about it, sell it. If you ask for it, they can possibly sell it to you, but they may not be talking about it to you as in, hey, you should buy this. Not now, at least. The government endorsement. President Trump announced the inclusion of XRP in the U.S. Strategic Crypto Reserve alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. Guys, this is happening in the world we live today under the current administration for the first time ever.
If you said any of this 5 years ago, or
not even 2 years ago,
a year ago, there was so much hatred towards cryptocurrencies that to see where we are today versus where we were then, it's almost like gasoline has been put on the thing.
It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing because for the last several years, they've been pushing you away from it. Don't get involved. It's not safe. It's not good. It's bad. And I really believe this whole time that this is because they were getting involved and buying it at a lower price.
And Elizabeth Warren, who's out of Massachusetts, our take is that she's on the take from the banksters.
That's right.
And the banks don't want the crypto because they realize that it's going to be pulling away a lot of their profit margins. It's going to be pulling away a lot of their stuff. So she's been a strong advocate against cryptocurrencies for years.
Swift is swiftly swifting away. How about that?
I like that too.
I might be the first person to coin that. Swift is swiftly swifting away. You heard it first.
If they don't swift away, they'll be using XRP.
They'll be swifting with XRP or XLM. Yes.
There you go.
As of May 2025, the XRP ledger XRPL is experiencing significant adoption in cross-border payments with several banks and financial institutions integrating its technology to enhance the transaction efficiency and reduce costs. One of the biggest things that XRP does is the speed of it and the cost of it. And the cost of it might be more important than the speed of it because the amount of money that is being spent with Swift and transactions is mind-blowing. Millions and billions and quadrillions of dollars that are being spent, the banks are spending. The amount of, if you've been to the bank and tried to wire funds, how long does it take? Have you ever taken money and wanted to, some banks don't even do the Zelle, by the way, which is interesting, but you want to go to a bank today and you want to move money from one bank to another, from bank to bank. Forget about from country to country.
Yep.
It can take 5 to 7 days. And the cost of it, where this is going to cost pennies on the dollar.
0.00001 XRP is what it costs to move XRP from one place to another. That's it. So it's almost zero.
So understanding why this is going to be significant for the world the banking system, credit cards, restaurant. You go to the credit right now. You go to a restaurant and you buy some, dinner. And you go to use your credit card and they charge you 3-4%. That will no longer be 3-4% because it's going to cost them so little. As a matter of fact, as we know today, most people hardly even carry cash on them, right? Most of us are living in a digital world and not even realizing it with using credit cards. And with that being said, we're paying these fees. The fees are going to drop significantly. It's going to cost us less money to have this in place. The banking systems, all the financial systems, unbelievable.
And I mean, even like restaurants. I mean, as a restaurant moves to crypto, they're not paying the 3.5% VIG to Visa and MasterCard. I can't tell you how many restaurants we're seeing here in Connecticut that are already saying, we'll give you a discount if you pay in cash.
Yep. Facts. Yep. Transaction speed and cost. XRP Ledger can process up to 1,500 transactions per second with a settlement times of 3 to 5 seconds and minimal transaction fees, making it a cost-effective solution for high-volume cross-border payments, as we just talked about. Now, XRP today is about $2.33 a share. It is our vision, and many others who are XRP fans, that this is something that's going to be climbing fairly quickly within the next year or less. Mike, you're so far back. I feel like
I'm sorry about that. I would say, I mean, remember, I'm going to keep hammering every time we're here. ISO 20022.
First, we got to look that up. What is ISO 20022?
It is a protocol that all the banks have to use by November of this year. They've already started phasing it in over the last couple of years, but it has to be fully done by November of this year. So I don't see any reason why these prices should stay as low as they are with this protocol along. Say nothing about the ETFs coming, say nothing about all the other stuff behind the scenes. I'm just saying utility is going to cause it.
Now, with XRP, they've been making tremendous investments, millions and billions of dollars. Hidden Road.
Oh, you said XRP.
I'm sorry, Ripple. I apologize. Ripple, which is
Ripple, the company that uses XRP.
Ripple, the company, has now purchased Hidden Road, correct? Right. And also in the situation of looking to buy Circle.
Yep. I heard that so far it doesn't look like they're going to allow that because that would make them almost
invincible.
A monopoly. They would have too much control over the whole stable coin market in America.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens. But with that being said, the costs of the XRP right now coin is about $2.33. It's fluctuating. Remember, digital assets, crypto is very volatile. When you're buying this stuff, you're not buying it for today. You're not buying it for tomorrow. You're buying it for your future to hold on to and to use it as something I'll call it a dividend that pays you back month by month. And if you learn more about this today, you're going to be educated and prepared for the future of what exactly this is all about. This is buying the bonds, right, at pennies when they're costing 100 or thousands. You're now investing in something that is I call it a long-term investment. It might be a life investment. You buy now today for your future. There'll be people throughout the time that you buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. But if you take this and use it as an investment that's a long-term life hold, this could be something that's generational wealth for generations to come.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I just listened to a podcast earlier today. I really appreciated it. And they said that when looking back on old stock portfolios,
yes,
those that performed best were those that were dead because the portfolio they bought, they held, and they never did anything with it. So it just grew and grew and grew. And it's almost, you were talking about long-term growth and so forth. This is something you want to buy, hold, and pass it on for generations. So this isn't, everybody that's really involved in this industry that really talks about, they always talk about this is such a valuable asset. They do not want us, you don't want to sell it for for money that they're printing out of thin air back into US dollars. You want to hold this and be able to live off the interest of it.
One of the
basically what we're talking
one of the
about.
analogies we've used before is with XRP and the blockchain Ripple is you have a chance to own the main sewer line that runs through the country before the sewer line is actually put together, or all the train tracks that run through the country before the trains even get on the tracks and start going.
That was the Vanderbilts. That's how the Vanderbilts made their money.
It's a matter of time and understanding what it is you're getting involved in and learning about. Again, use this as information to learn. Try to invest slowly. Use what you don't need today. Don't go and invest money that you need to use today. This is something that you have extra shekels, extra few bucks here. Maybe you buy one less cup of coffee per week, or maybe you might be buying coffee once or twice a day. Maybe you take one day of coffee and not you spend the $20 a week you're spending on coffee. That could be in one day. You know, it's amazing to me. You go into a Starbucks and people are spending between $5 and $8 on a drink, which blows my mind. You know, they did a really nice job with the establishment there. It's pretty, it's comfortable. You sit down, you're having a little thing, you're doing your work and you compete. But people don't think about how much money they're spending on coffee. You can make coffee at home, right? It costs you pennies in the dollar. That's basically what you're doing. So now you take and maybe one day a week, you reduce the amount of coffee you're buying, or you might have other little habits you do and just start to invest slowly, get comfortable, get knowledgeable, educate yourself, please. There are a handful of people. Oh, by the way, let's talk about this for a second. The Bearable Bull, if you follow the Bearable Bull, which has been somebody that I really like and thought was amazing. He's been off kind of on the down low for a while.
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And he actually showed his face. So for years, we've been hearing this guy, but not seeing his face and wondering what he looks like. This is the Bearable Bull here.
I won't even attempt that.
Right.
So
I mean, he is like, his voice is like, and he laughs and it's sarcastic kind of laugh, almost mocking kind of laugh. He's got that like, but he came and he went boom live. When I heard that, I was in shock. And right away I went to watch the show and I was like, what is he going to look like? Does he look like what I think he's going to look like? A little bit what I thought in my mind. Not exactly though.
Yep.
And he came out and he's excited because he knows things in the future of what's going to be happening. There are things that are coming out that some people know. If you know, you know, right? We listen to Mikkel. We like Mikkel a lot. Crypto Sensei, we like a lot.
Yep.
Want to throw any other names out that you like?
Jake Cleaver.
Jake Claver is probably the most knowledgeable person on the XRP ledger and Ripple as to what it's about and how it works and what's going to happen with all investments in the future.
He's setting up a real amazing program where people are going to be able to, they're already doing it. As a matter of fact, I heard on his podcast yesterday, he was talking about there's only about, I think, 2 billion XRP that are out there on the that retail have purchased, have purchased. And his organization already has 8% of all of them.
No kidding.
On their
investments.
Yeah, through Securitize. It's all basically.
And the name of his company is called
Digital Wealth Partners.
So look into Jake Claver, Digital Wealth Partners. Great place to kind of understand, learn about, watch him. Things you're going to learn by watching, listen to what we're saying to you is going to help you be ahead of the game. Again, you got to do some research and look things up, go on YouTube. But you need to start learning about it. He does
2-hour question and answers, 1.5 question and answers on Monday and Wednesday nights. So you can literally go on there and just type in Jake Cleaver, Cleaver. Right?
I have to look it up. Claver, I thought.
Okay, maybe you're right.
But if you type it in Jake Claver, I think it's Claver. You'll have a chance to read about him, watch him, and listen to what he's saying to you. Some things might be above your pay grade in that sense of like, what does that mean?
It's immersion. The more you immerse yourself in these things, the more you start to understand this kind of stuff.
But you really need to. You can even actually type into YouTube, I want to learn about crypto. Beginners, crypto for beginners. You'll have great things you can watch and learn about what crypto is from many different people from 5 and 10 years ago. By the way, speaking of that, I'm going to go back into The Simpsons. So I'm not sure if you watch The Simpsons. Okay. Now, when I was in college, I went to school in Springfield, Mass. And I remember watching The Simpsons. It was a great show. It takes place in Springfield, Mass, which I didn't even know when I was watching it. Hilarious show. And in season 31, episode 13. Well, first, just before I even say that, they predicted Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States before it happened, when he was not even involved in politics. They predicted in season 31, episode 13, that XRP will be the future of the economy in not only the United States, but the world, which is pretty wild stuff. So, like,
don't tell them the price. Look it up.
It's definitely something you should look up. And there might be some truth. There may not be some truth. There may be some laughing parts about it. But the point is that they kind of predicted the things that are happening now on The Simpsons. So big shout out to The Simpsons. I forget who owns The Simpsons.
I don't know the answer. It was funny. David sent me a couple of those videos this morning.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you're finally getting caught up on videos that I watched 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. All right. Yeah. It's Friday. We want to wish you a fantastic weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully that the weather will turn around. I heard it might turn around by Sunday because the amount of rain and the cold and the clouds, oh my God, so depressing. Looking forward to getting some sunshine maybe on Sunday if we're lucky. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Drink responsibly. Surround yourself with family and friends. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. We will see you on Monday to see what's happening over the weekend. Love you all.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, I'm going to end over here first on this side here in the line.